Good morning, students. This is JC Benoy, your SST teacher. I hope you are doing well and you all are taking care of yourselves. Though the lockdown is opening up, we still haven't received permission to come back to school, so we are going to continue with our online classes as us. So I want you all to pay attention to all the videos. The exams will soon be here, so please do not be caught unawares. I want you all to go back and revise the videos that I have put up earlier so that you are able to revise. In case of any doubts, please do feel free to send me a mail and I will get back to you. Alright? Now, apart from that, take care of yourselves and of your family. Wash your hands regularly. Try not to go out much. Keep socialization to a minimum. And do not forget to wear a mask every time you go out because the number of COVID-19 cases just keep on rising. So we need to take care of ourselves. Alright? Now, we're going to start today with an activity. Now for this, I want you all to keep a paper and pen handy and I want you to note down whatever I'm asking you for, alright? And let's play a guessing game first. Can you guess this picture what I've put up? What do you think that is? What can you see? A lot of trees, I know, but this is related to a chapter that we have already studied and it's an image which I have already shared. So I want an answer as to what these forests represent. What do they show? So think about it and write it down. I've given you ample time to write it down because I had already asked you to write. So I hope you have written it. Okay. These are images of rainforests. Alright. So these are images of rainforests. Correct? Which kind of rainforests? Which we have already studied in the previous lesson, equatorial climates. Alright, do you remember that? We had learned about equatorial climates and we had seen that there are lots of rainforests in the equatorial climate. Can you name one equatorial rainforest? Can you think of it? One very famous name? Have you thought about it? The answer is the Amazon rainforest. So that's a very popular rainforest which most of us know. Apart from this, there are other rainforests which I have taught you all about in the equatorial rainforest video. Please go back and refer to it if you have forgotten. Okay? And please make it a point to revise these videos because otherwise you're not going to be able to remember all the detail and information that I am sharing. Alright? Now let's move on to the next image that I want to show you. This is an easy picture, correct? What can you see on the image? What is this? Have you guessed it? It's a desert, correct? This is an image of a desert. So that brings you to the chapter that we are going to study today. The name of our lesson is chapter 8 of SST, Desert Climate of grade 5. Alright, so this is our 8th lesson in our textbook, which the name of the lesson is Desert Climate. So what are we going to study in this lesson? We're going to study about deserts, obviously, and we're also going to learn about the flora, fauna and the people of the desert region. Alright, now what does flora mean? Like I had told you in the lesson about equatorial climate, flora stands for the vegetation, the plant life of that region, and fauna stands for the animal life that you find in the desert region. So that is what we are going to study about. But today we are going to focus about the deserts. What is the extent of the deserts? Where do we find these deserts? What causes these deserts? Okay, all these other things that we are going to cover in our video today. I want you to pay attention. Please keep a paper and pen handy. There's going to be a quiz at the end of the video which I want you to answer. Alright. So please make it a point to keep your pen and paper near you. Make notes of the topics that I am discussing, at least like about what is desert, where do you find them, what are some special features about deserts. So these are things which you need to write down. So please write it down and make a note of it. All right, and this can be done on a rough paper. These notes will be for your reference. Okay, so let's get on with our chapter for today. Now, like I said, what are deserts? Now, when you looked at the picture, what do you remember? Deserts are dry, correct? Why are they dry? They are dry because they receive very little rainfall. Okay, so deserts are places where areas which receive very less rainfall. Now, why do they receive very less rainfall? Sometimes it could be because of, the mountains are there. These places might be on the other side of the mountains. Okay, so we know that the rain clouds come in and the mountains and the trees stop these rain clouds and make the rain fall, correct? But what happens to the places where the rain clouds are coming empty? The clouds have already rained, so there is no water left for them to pour. Okay, there is no rainfall. So what happens on the other side of the mountains? Okay, so what happens is that this side of the mountain is called the leeward mountain, and on the leeward side, there is hardly any rain, and that is why, because of lack of rain, the land starts drying out and then deserts are formed. So that is one of the reasons for formation of deserts. Okay, so what about the deserts? Deserts are places which basically receive very little rainfall. The temperatures are extreme. It's very hot during the day and can be very cold during the night. Okay, so the temperature is very extreme. What does extreme mean? That it is too much. It's not moderate. It's not an in-between sort of a temperature which we experience here, but it is extreme. All right, so very hot during the day and very cold during the night. And the land is barren and lacks vegetation. Now, what does barren mean? Barren means it is empty. There is nothing growing. It is not fertile. You can't sow a seed and grow in the sand, correct? So that is why the land is barren and it lacks vegetation. Now, if nothing can grow on it, will there be any plant life over there? No. So it lacks vegetation. So what are some features of deserts? Deserts are areas which receive very little rainfall. They have extreme temperature. They experience extreme temperatures, very hot and very cold, and the land is very barren. What does barren mean? It means infertile, or it lacks any, you can't grow anything on that land, and it lacks vegetation. There is hardly any plant life which you can see. Okay, now this image shows you what it looks like, correct? The desert is very dry. You can't see any water sources available over there. What little plant life you can see are thorny plants. Okay, now why thorny? Because they will be able to save whatever little water they have with them. The plants, they are able to save that water for themselves. So that is why they are thorny. Okay, so that is why deserts are dry, arid, and they have sparse vegetation. Now, there are two types of deserts, hot and cold. What are the two types of deserts? Hot and cold deserts. Very easy to remember. What are the two types of deserts? There are two types of deserts, hot and cold. Hot desert, example the Sahara Desert, then Thar Desert in Rajasthan. Okay, apart from this, what are the cold deserts? Now, cold deserts are deserts like, for example, the Gobi Desert. So you have two kinds of deserts. Okay, what are the two types of deserts? Hot and cold. Okay, can you name an example of a hot desert? The Sahara Desert. Any other desert that comes to your mind? There are many hot deserts which you can remember. Okay, but Sahara is just one example, and the cold deserts, one example is the Gobi Desert. Now, where is this Gobi Desert? Gobi Desert is in China. Okay, now I told you that deserts are in the torrid zone. Okay, now this we had studied in our climate zones lesson. Okay, you can go back and refer to that video. We had seen that there are different climate zones on Earth, and today we are focusing on the torrid zone, where we have the equatorial rainforests as well as the deserts. Okay, so what is the extent of the deserts. Okay, before that I just want to share this map with you. If you observe this map, there are many shades of orange on the map. Okay, and the different shades show how dry these deserts are. Okay, so the ones with the darkest color, that is, if you observe, there is the Sahara Desert, then there is the Patagonian Desert. Okay, then there is the Peruvian desert. So some areas of these deserts are colored in darker shade. That means that these areas of the deserts are very dry. Okay, they receive hardly to no rainfall at all, so they have no source of water. Okay, and so if there is no water, there will be no plant life. If there is no plant life, there will further be no rains, because there will be no trees to stop the clouds, rain clouds. So that cycle continues, and that is why these places are completely dry. Okay, the lighter shade is the semi-arid region. Semi-arid, once again, arid means dry. Okay, so you have semi-arid, which means that it is somewhat dry, but they have some water sources available for them in those areas. And then you have the arid places, which is again dry, so it's very difficult to live in these dry places. So these are the different regions of deserts in our world. Now, deserts are found in all the three temperature zones of the earth, because I told you that there are two types of deserts, hot and cold deserts. But most of the hot deserts are basically found between 20° north and 30° north, and 20° south and 30° south latitudes. Okay, so next, the earlier picture which I had shown you, please go back and refer to that. You will have to locate on a world map where is 20° north and where are the 30° north latitudes. Mark that area, you will be able to locate your area for hot deserts. What will you find in this area? You will find the hot deserts between 20° north and 30° north, and 20° south and 30° south. So that is the area where you find the hot deserts. You need to remember this because it is an important point. All right. Now, another important part of the deserts is that Sahara Desert is the hottest desert, okay, like I told you. And cold deserts include Gobi Desert in Asia, which is in China, and the Patagonian Desert, which is in South America. You need to remember these names, okay. Let me just repeat. Sahara Desert is the major hot desert and is found in South Africa. And the cold deserts, you have Gobi Desert in Asia, in China, and the Patagonian Desert in South America. Okay, so if somebody asks you which are the two cold deserts, what will you say? You will say Patagonian Desert or the Gobi Desert. Now, this image is of the location of Sahara Desert on the map. That is the biggest hot desert on earth. Apart from that, you have the Karakum Desert and the Kalahari Desert. We need to remember these locations. We will have to learn to plot it on a map, which I will be doing later. Okay. Apart from this, now let's just look at the climate of the deserts. I've already told you that they have a dry climate. Deserts have an arid climate. What does arid mean? It means dry climate, okay? And they hardly receive any rainfall. Negligible means very little, okay? So they receive negligible or very little rainfall, and it is only up to 25 centimeters in a year. So only that much, only 25 centimeters of water is available for these desert areas in a year. Can you survive on that much water? You know what, you could possibly measure 25 centimeters and fill that amount of in a beaker and see how much water that is. So it is going to be very minuscule, tiny quantity. And just imagine, a whole area needs to live on that. The plants, the animals, the people. Is that possible? Very difficult, correct? So life in the deserts is very difficult because of that. Apart from this, you have to remember that deserts experience extreme temperatures throughout the year. So it's going to be very hot in the summers and extremely cold in the winters, okay, especially in the nights, okay. So these are some things about the climate that you need to really remember. Now, apart from this, like I told you, that the people experience during the day very hot climate and during the night very cold climate, correct? So this variation in temperature is called as the diurnal range of temperature, which I have already taught you all and I have discussed in the equatorial climate. Okay, so diurnal is the diurnal range means the difference between the hottest period of the day and the coldest period of the day. Okay, so there will be temperatures recorded, and if the variation, if the change in these numbers is too much, then it is considered as a vast change. So deserts experience vast change, a huge difference in the diurnal temperature. That means that during the days it could be very hot and during the nights it will be very cold. And what about the soil of the in the deserts? We had already seen that image. So the soil is generally sandy, and so there is hardly any vegetation growing in these areas. You will not find many plants. You will basically find cactus or something. Okay, so sparse means very little. Okay, so deserts have sandy soil and they have very little vegetation or plant life. Okay, now this image is where I have shown you where Gobi Desert is. Okay, and if you remember, Gobi Desert is a cold desert and it is in China. Alright, just a little beyond the Himalayas. So I had told you all why Gobi, some areas do not become deserts. Okay, why do they become deserts now? Because when the rain clouds come from the Himalayan side, the Himalayan mountains block these clouds, rain clouds. And all that rain starts pouring down in the form of snow in the Himalayas itself. Okay, and Gobi Desert is, the region of Gobi Desert is on the other side of the Himalayan mountains. Now what did I say that this other side of the mountains is called as? It is called as the leeward, Leeward, leeward side of the Himalayan mountains. And that is why this entire region in China doesn't receive rainfall. Okay, so that is why Gobi Desert is caused, it is formed because of lack of rain clouds coming down to the Gobi Desert area. Okay, so that is on the leeward side of the Himalayan mountains. All right, so that Gobi Desert is a cold desert, and this is an image of the Gobi Desert. Now I'm going to stop here for today, but before we wind up, I'm going to take up a quick quiz on the topics that we have covered today in this video. Now let me check if you have paid attention, and you will also realize how much you are remembering. Okay, so I want you to keep a pen and paper handy. Like I told you, take it out and start writing the answers. The questions are already put up on the board, on the screen. So the first question: in which zones are the deserts located? Okay, torrid zone, frigid zone, or temperate zone, mainly located. Okay, so I'll just give you a second to think about it. Think, write the answer. Okay, I had discussed it in this video, so please pay attention. Okay, try to recollect. In which, I know it is very easy to copy. You can just go reverse and you can just go back and listen to the answer and write, but try to be a little honest and think about it on your own. Okay, so in which zones are the deserts located? The next question: name the types of deserts. Think about it. Okay, name the types of deserts that I have already discussed in this video. Okay, let's go to the third question. It doesn't take time to write these answers. Okay, the third question is: Gobi Desert is an example of blank desert. Your options are hot, cold, or temperate. Okay, Gobi Desert is an example of dash desert: hot, cold, temperate. Which do you think is the answer? Have you thought about it? Have you written it down? Let's go to the fourth question. Deserts receive less than blank rainfall annually. Dash rainfall annually. Deserts receive less than blank rainfall annually. Options are 25 centimeters, 125 centimeters, or 0.25 centimeters. This answer is again discussed in this video, so please go through the video if you have not really forgotten about it. Go through it again and find the answer. Okay, I think this much time is enough to think about the answers. Here are the solutions for the question. So the first question was, in which zones are the deserts mainly located? The answer is the torrid zone. Okay, you remember, between 20° north and 30° north, and between 20° south and 30° south latitudes. So in which zones are the deserts located? In the torrid zone. Okay, I hope you all got that right. The next question was, name the types of deserts. The answer is that there are two types of deserts, hot and cold. Alright. The third question was, Gobi Desert is an example of a dash desert. What kind of a desert? It is an example of a cold desert. Correct. And the fourth question, deserts receive less than dash rainfall annually. The answer is 25 centimeters. If you've got all four correct, very good. If you got three correct, no problem. Next time, pay more attention in the next video. Okay. I am going, and if you have got only one or two correct, I want you to pay more attention to the videos when you are going through it. Okay. Because this is how we are going to be learning. I don't want you to be wasting time. Okay, I'm going to stop here today. This is our part 1 video on the lesson about deserts and climates. We've learned about deserts, the climate that they have in that region, and the location of the deserts. Okay, we also studied about the types of climate and some of the causes for the formation of deserts. These are the things which we studied in this video today. Go through it again, make a few notes about it so that you are prepared and understand, you at least remember what you have studied. Thank you. Have a nice day.